allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, welcome everybody. Need a approval for the minutes. By legislator Hall, second by legislator Yurden. In favor? Aye. Right into resolutions. IT1, resolution authorizing budgetary modification, central services, supplementing the existing capital project to fund audio visual upgrade. $10,000 supplement. It's to existing capital project from tech reserve fund capital project to what? Motion to discuss. First by legislator Bowles, second by legislator Lockwood. Anybody? Nobody. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries. IT2 resolution approving the execution of the memorandum of the agreement with the United States Department of Transportation, Federal Aviation Administration concerning the Oswego County Airport FAA contract number 69435Z-22-L-0090. Motion to discuss. First by legislator Twist, second by legislator Beard. Cut you loose.
So it's basically just consolidates a couple of older agreements that we have with CAFE. It's NAVAID's navigation. So we have a ASOS, automated service observation system, and two components to the instrument landing system that helps the planes start during flight. The ASOS is actually, if you're watching your channel 359 news, it tells you what the weather is bolted. That's where it's getting its information from. Basically what this agreement does, it just allows us to let them use the property. If you read through the agreement, it's well written. If any harm, damage comes from any of this, if it's their problem, it's their problem. So there's a whole harmless effect. It's a nice, it's definitely to our benefit.
Is that one of the measurement sites? Or is it separate?
It's separate.
Okay.
So it's actually, it's owned by the FAA and maintained by the National Weather Service and NOAA. A lot of hands.
Great. Legislator Chuck.
Do we have a hold harmless for people with hangars for the county?
It is in the lease agreements for the hangars, yes. I mean, I would have to.
Can I get a copy of that lease agreement? Because we're self-insured and that could
Right,
be
that could be.
pretty wild.
Yep.
Will this system that you're talking about keep track of landings and takeoffs?
These won't, but we do have, we started last year tracking all of the airplanes. APSB was mandated by the FAA to have in all airplanes, and we have purchased a system that will keep track of all the takeoffs and landings. So these won't, but we do have a separate one.
Okay, and it's currently doing counts.
It is, yes. Yep.
Okay, yeah, I would be really interested about the hold harmless. Very important, considering they're getting it for an extremely inexpensive rate and the amount of exposure connected to that.
I understand. Yep.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. IT3, resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Department of Solid Waste, establish capital project number 0324 for the Bristol Hill landfill site expansion 5. Solid waste unappropriated fund balance to capital project number 0324. Motion to discuss. First by legislator Holtz. Second by legislator Yurden. Discussion.
Based on a survey that we did last year, we found that the landfill was filling up faster than anticipated. So I got the B&L, Jillian is here to answer any questions you might have. We put together the engineering, put it out to bid in January, Holly's help. We've got a very aggressive timeline. I think our financial letter said we've got, what, 2.48 years at the max to fill. So you're about a year, a little less than a year to get this built. So we're there, we need to get it built and ready to accept solid waste.
Well, I'll go with it. You gave a super extensive presentation about it. So move forward. It's well done. Yes.
Just a quick question, like, were we ever able to acquire the adjacent property?
No. And it was a perpendicular piece, so it would really not have helped us. It stuck out this way.
Right.
So to utilize it, you might have been able to utilize it as a composting area. Even so, the fear was truck traffic and everything. It's been a big nuisance for all of us, so.
If we're filling fast, and thank God we have the grinder, are we taking in more money?
Well, with our fee increase last year, I hope so. We'll have a better answer as we get deeper into the year, how our financials are looking. Yes, the grinding will help. Ask me that in 6 months. Okay.
Yes. Let's see.
How many years are we expected for this? 5 years.
If I can keep the earth afloat, at least, yes. If we have, part of the problem is we've had bypass waste with the earth being up and down so much, maintenance issues, oil issues, that has contributed to the filtering. So, longer I keep the earth going, the longer the cell lasts.
Yeah.
This question, how are we doing with the return water from?
That's an ongoing discussion. It has gotten better. It's still not where it needs to be, but we're working with them on that.
How do we assure that we won't sustain any more damage so possibly?
Well, going forward, if I can pull up a refit of curve, that will certainly be very forefront of our discussions. We spend millions of dollars to put a new incinerated boiler system in, we have to have the water. That's it, and there'll have to be legal things in place to ensure that.
Certainly. Would it be to our advantage, Bill, to sell it back to the grid? How is it a premium? It might be a real moneymaker for your department.
That's going to be another discussion. About a year from now, our 40-year contract with Niagara Mohawk / National Grid is up. Rich Mitchell and I have already started talking about that. So I need to get into that deeper. Fortunately, right now I can't answer that. Yeah, of course, yes.
Just a good thought.
Well, started working on it about a year and a half ago, chief and I, to revisit and try to get into contracts. If they got the infrastructure for the boiler, it should be nice to send the power of the grid. Because the contractor for it was raised.
But you're close. I mean, we should be nimble and ready as the time approaches.
Bill?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out to the committee, this doesn't need an amendment because it's not any resolved. The committee's permission, I'd like to clarify the whereas that this is coming from solid waste. The amendment is identified correctly as solid waste. No, just, it's okay with the committee, we'll make that correction next.
Anybody else? Got a couple of 3 bids here. Hazardous waste. Bid 24 SW002 hazardous, household hazardous waste. Talk on that.
We just put it out to bid as a yearly.
We'll vote. We got the motion. Oh, the resolution. So did I. All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries. Now I'm on the bids. Okay, motion to discuss.
We got 2 bids back.
Yeah.
Yes. And Clean Harbors,
Second.
Legislator Twist, second by. I'm sorry.
Clean Harbors, gives us a better pricing package, so we'll do our HHW with that. That's it in a nutshell.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Battery backup bank. Bid 23ERF008 backup battery bank. Motion to discuss. First by legislator Holst, second by legislator Wilmot.
I believe the low bid was 118, right? That's part of last August, I did a large capital project with the ERP, and I had budgeted 150,000, came in at 118. That's where it's already funded, and it's just part of this is the battery system that powers the ERP, big electrical control gear down in the vault. That's what this is for. And the current one is original to the plant. So we've got our money's worth out of it.
Anybody else? All in favor? Opposed? Carries. Bid 24 SW001 Crystal Hill Sanitary Landfill, cell number 5, minor construction. And we've got Mercy Excavation Services and Knapp Electric. A motion to discuss. Legislator Twist. First by legislator Twist, second by legislator Wilmot.
I have a question.
Okay.
I understand when they did the last, dramatically gone up in price.
Actually, I found the old file, and it basically doubled in price. I think from 3 million, what is the jacket file? Yeah. Oh,
2015.
it's 2015, so 9 years ago. It's a 6. Yeah, so basically double. So I ended all of ours. So that's, I'm happy with the bids. Joey and I have gone over everything. She's familiar with Marcy, so yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Here. Another one here, I don't think it's a bid. Well, sent from you, Craig, or,
It's for a cell phone?
yes, civil division.
Sure, so that's another situation where there's a contact made with the public.
But this isn't a bid.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep, so it's a request for a new cell phone. Person using it for obvious reasons, doesn't want to use it for the public. They're requesting a contact.
Sure. Motion to discuss that, so first by legislator, Twist, second by legislator Yurch. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Update on projects, Bunner Street, we had a meeting recently with CMS, and we are on schedule to still be complete in December. So things are moving smoother up there. Door security, our second phase of door security, and we've recently done the airport. The guys are up to Earth today. They just did the fire school. They finished this building, so that's moving. They're putting elevators, they're putting door skins on the elevator. So, where I think we're only a few weeks away from that being complete, we'll have elevator work again. The DSS parking lot just went through, the Mexico Town Board, and they approved everything, so we'll be moving with the next steps of that. We're still waiting on a few parts for Camp Hollis, and then that project's gonna be all done. Thursday, we had a power outage out to Mexico, and we found out that we had a bad makeup air unit, which that's what caused the power outage, and we had to order parts for that. The breaker that we had to order was $4,500. We had overnight it, and we had power back on in Mexico for Saturday morning. What else? We just remodeled the judge's office over in the courthouse. They wanted some remodeling done, new carpets. That's on their dime. They reimbursed us for it. And, we're finishing up the DA's office right now. We did some remodeling for him, put new carpets in his area. So that well covers it.
Well, first things first, I'd like to just bring this forward, up at the courthouse in Pulaski. There's a church on the corner. They would like us to do a curb cut. They want to put an ADA ramp in. I talked to Richie about it. He said, yeah, no problem with it because we got to be compliant with all that. And they want to replace some of the sidewalks, which are in county property. So all I got to do is curb cut. They were paying for everything. So I just wondered if I could get the blessing of the committee to do that.
Else is paying?
They're paying 100%. I just got to go up there.
Hey,
Church. They want to be compliant with the ADA, so.
So it's up to their compliance.
It's up to, yes, they said they take care of everything, I just gotta cut the curb up there. So I got maps, that's why I want. So on the other note, mixed plant, Midland mixed plant. The electrical contractors are there right now. They're putting all the components in, all the controls up in the tower. And basically, we're waiting on standstill. I haven't heard from them. I just emailed them again this morning. I want to know how the drums are coming in the oil tanks. I talked to him last week. He says everything looks good so far, but nothing to get a schedule. I haven't gotten it yet. So on the other note, that we're doing spring cleanup, ditching trees after that little storm we had last week. A lot of stuff hanging around. Then we're helping out the fire school. They got a new building coming down there, I guess, for the postseason building them something, and I'm just helping with the ground. So bringing some gravel to fill the pad. That's about all right now.
I could talk about the truck that sticks out through the windshield.
Well, I can tell you that too.
Go ahead. You got pictures of it.
Yes, I got some good pictures. During the windstorm we had, it was last Wednesday or Thursday it was. Yeah, out on 104 towards Camp Zerby, flowers going down the road, windy, tree flying through the air, went right through the windshield. My truck driver, probably like that much, probably a 6-inch branch going right in. And just kind of nervous. So they switched drivers, they plugged the hole with a rag, drove back to the garage, jumped in the other truck. I was working that night, I did go in, see how they were, they were okay. All it was the windshield, no damage to the truck besides the windshield, cracked hair. So, everybody's okay, put it that way. That was my first question on the radio. Everybody all right?
Done?
Yep.
All set? Thank you.
Thanks.
Solid waste.
Can we talk about sulfide expansion? As part of that info memo, at the end, I mentioned potential approximately 446,000 if I can use tire chips in place of aggregate. So we collected a sample and I've sent it out to the lab to get tested. Depending on that test, I'll update the committee next month if tire chips will work. And then if they will work, I will have to, 16,000 cubic yards, roughly. I'll have to generate 16,000 cubic yards of tire chips. So we'll discuss that going forward. just so you know, I'm working on trying to get some savings. Along with that, the grinder has produced 32,000 pounds of steel we've taken out of what we've processed so far. Currently, I'm demoing some compact loaders. My loader fleet is aging, and keeping them running is becoming a challenge. So, I have a Hitachi we're looking at now. We're going to try a Cat and a John Deere. See how this all comes out and formulating a plan on how we start implementing small loaders in our fleet. Every transfer does not need a full-size loader. Again, I will.
You said smaller loaders?
Compact
Okay.
loaders, yeah.
Compact.
So in between a Bobcat and a full-size.
Yep, gotcha.
I did get the spec out this week, actually purchasing out the spec out for 2 more trash trailers. So once we get those back, we'll award that. I do have money budgeted for that. It's good for the solid waste side. The earth, we did get some quotes back for our intake water structure repair. I had budgeted out of the capital project last year, $450,000 for that. Bids are coming in right around $325. Costs about $150,000 to get a barge in the water with a crane on it. That's just to get you in the water. And then we do the work on top of that. So that's proceeding along. I'll keep you updated as we move forward. Air compressor issues at the earth. I'm going to have to run a diesel unit. And trying to get our 2 units that are down up and running. Talking vendors. So it'll probably be next committee. I will have a plan formulated on how to move forward with that. Greenhouse gas NOx requirements with DEC. I met with Kyle from BNL yesterday, and he's trying to set up a phone meeting with our Region 7 engineer so I can continue the forward movement of that. So that's all based on.
Mike, just for the record, 22 years ago, I put shattered rubber as a surface in my indoor arena. It was held up brilliantly. And it's all demagnetized and everything, but the surface is very cohesive, roomable. Water went through it great. I mean, our subsurface was well prepared, but it is fabulous. And think of like 1,800-pound animals with iron shoes striking it all the time. It has just held up beautifully.
We are using some of the tire chips currently for the road going up to the landfill as well.
Nice.
So,
Happy with it.
Anybody else? Good. Thanks, Mike. Your report.
Well, apologies that the gentleman that I was hoping could be here to give a little presentation. He was not able to make it schedule like that, but I will push to get it at the next one. Okay. If anybody's got a question, ask afterwards. But so I'll give you some updates on some of the other projects. We're out to bid right now for the beacon replacement and relocation project. That'll be 5% our cost. Bids get opened on the 12th of March for that. We'll submit a final application for all of these projects once the bids come in, because we'll know what the numbers are. So we'll submit our final applications to the FAA based on those. Those are due April 14th, 15th. We're assuming FAA hasn't announced it yet, but that's the big push on these bids. So that'd be 5% cost. We're out to bid right now for the electric vehicles finally. We're also out to bid. We're also loader short. The bipartisan infrastructure law gave us a little bit of money, so that is guaranteed funds for us right now. We're out to bid. That'll be open on March 19th. And taxiway route would be in the, it's a bill and overlay project. Those bids will be open on the 26th. So we're bringing all those bid results to the next committee meeting and put applications in based on those numbers. It's kind of my hopes to talk a little bit with Phil, so we got to discuss a little bit more, but what I'd like to do is put forth resolutions for each of these to authorize the chairman to execute these agreements pending the offers. FAA just gives us very, very strict timeframes. We also saw it with the electric vehicles when we had called the special meeting. In hopes of avoiding that, I'd like to put resolutions together to authorize the chairman based on the bid results. So I'll do a lot of that next month. I talked about a potential blimp a while back. I'm finally meeting with the guy on site at the airport tomorrow to discuss whether we're a good fit for them, or they're a good fit for us. We'll see a little bit of potential revenue from that. We'll discuss that tomorrow.
Questions? Thank you very much. Central Services Department updates.
One of the to note, among others, local law went through the government courts committee yesterday. It's changing the name of the Central Services Department to Information Technology. So that's in the works. And also codifies, I guess, it's sort of the existing structure of the department, how it's constituted. That codifies the responsibilities of what we do in the department. That's a good way to say it, though. So one of the main things is it's updating the name of the department. It's statewide. Nothing like the Central Services Department anymore. They're mostly information technology or information services, something along those lines. That would change my title as well. So that's doesn't really move the dial in terms of what we do day to day, but it kind of cleans up things from an organizational structure standpoint. So that's a nice item to have in the works. We're mainly now working on existing projects. There's even some from last year we're still working on. I mentioned, I know in the past that we're able to use this antivirus product called CrowdStrike that's available to us through the state. And then another product that we purchased became a significant operational budget item. It's called Tanium, which is really for inventory management, patch management, whatnot, and helping us to optimize the fleet. As part of that, we're in the process now of doing a physical inventory of all of our workstations. This is in conjunction with purchasing. It's highly to fix assets, but it's really important for us to know where all our computers are, of course, just for good inventory management, but getting them identified, decommissioning machines that really aren't used, looking for opportunities where users maybe have more than one workstation, a desktop, a laptop, and consolidating down to optimize the fleet. And then also putting provisions in place to make sure the computers are turned on really as frequently as possible all the time, if ideally. And with this Tanium product and CrowdStrike, we can connect to these computers when they're off the county network. So if they're coming to a laptop at home and they're turned on, if they're connected to the internet, we can push patches to them. We're inventorying them. So we have more visibility, we have proper visibility of our fleet. But getting this physical inventory done, finding machines that are stashed at a desk drawer or stuck in a closet, getting that cleaned up, getting the machines all online so we can keep them patched, we can keep the antivirus up to date. It's kind of background stuff we do, and it doesn't necessarily impact anybody, but it's really a key administrative item for us. And we should just generally know where our computers are for obvious reasons, I guess. So that's a really key item that we spend a fair amount of time on, and leveraging these tools, especially Tanium, that's very expensive. It doesn't benefit us fully if we can't connect to the computer. So something behind the scenes we're working on. Some other projects, still working to replace the Wi-Fi system. My goal was to have that done by last summer. Now my goal is to have it done by this summer, and it will be. I'm looking at that in the context of kind of a broader transition for all the network devices, maybe moving off of Cisco. All of our network now is Cisco, moving to another brand of equipment. That would, I think, be a 2 to 4 year evolution. So I'll have some kind of proposal something written up to show what that looks like and where it ties into a 5-year plan. The initial piece of it would be to buy the Wi-Fi system from that manufacturer and be part of an across-the-board update that allows them better centrally manage the network, keep it patched, keep it updated, so I can get something up trained. I know with all of the networking, and that's not in the best interest of the organization. We need to be bench on that. It's also not in the best interest of my marriage, but that's beside the point, I guess. But we need to move in a better direction there for centralized administration. And Wi-Fi system is very dated. Eventually devices are not going to connect to it. So that's for a problem for us. We're working on wrapping up or rolling out deploying battery backup systems that we purchased last fall. Typically when we deploy those, we have to unplug them and power down equipment, so that has to be done off hours. So we're working through that. One other item to update on too is the camera project. We're still waiting for the remainder of the replacement 911 tower site cameras to come in. Once we have all of them, then we'll get that those replacements scheduled with 911. We're hoping we can knock those out in just a couple of hours, maybe in each site. Get the 17 sites, 2 crews over a 2-day period. So it'll probably take 2 weeks, but in theory it can be done in 2 or 3 days. That will, other than some training, some other fine tuning, that will wrap up phase 1 camera project. Look at price phase 2, which is the much smaller. Sure.
Any questions? That's it. Well, appropriate motion. First by legislator here, second by legislator reports. Thank you, God, for coming. Hey, Greg.